unfortunately, in the conventional world of medicine, what we do is if you come with any symptoms to me, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rule out all the physical stuff first
Mm.
before I even consider talking about your mental health,
Yeah.
which is very unfortunate, actually. And I don't do that anymore
Mm.
because I have the bravery not to do that. And I am very
Mm.
clear with my patients that your mental and physical health is one. So we're not going to separate it. We also need to break that stigma that comes with mental health and
Mm.
mental fitness, if anything. Mental health illnesses have already a stigma. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it can't be my mental health. Can't you? Are you sure it's not my thyroid? I mean,
Yeah, because it's something broken. There's a stigma of
yeah,
I have
patients
some
are
label.
happy.
Yeah.
Patients are happy to take a thyroid medication.
Mm.
But if I say, well, your thyroid is fine, I think your fatigue really comes from the fact that your mind is exhausted.
Mm.
Your emotional health and your mental health is suffering because of the situation that you're in, or now chronically your sympathetic nervous system is firing
Mm.
and it's actually giving you physical symptoms.
Yeah.
I was taught in medical school, really, do not hug a patient.
Oh.
You can touch a patient on their shoulder, then that's it. And I was like, no, like it's not who I am. I don't care what you say, UBC.
Yeah, yeah.
I hug my patients.
Mm.
I cry with my patients.
Yeah.
I swear with my patients.
Yeah.
And they think I'm human.
Yeah.
And I'm just myself.
Mm.
And people connect with that more. And they
Mm.
say, do not share any intricate details of your life
Mm.
with any patient. Well,
Mm.
I'm sorry.
Mm.
Okay, I understand. I'm not going to be talking about myself when my patient is coming
Right.
to see me about their problem. But if I can gain therapeutic alliance with my patient,
Mm.
where the patient feels that they're being alienated for what they're suffering from,
Mm.
if I say, you know what, I have experienced the lower back pain that you've had. It is
Yeah.
the worst experience. It is the worst pain because you think it's not going to go away. Right.
Mm.
And they say, yeah. And so technically, I have shared,
Yeah.
had chronic lower back pain.
Yeah. But you see, it's from a place of deep compassion and connection. Like as you're sharing, like as you're speaking it, it's not about you just turning the attention on you. It's
No.
about deep, like your expression of understanding. Like, oh, like I've had something similar, and
Yeah.
this really sucks. Like there's being understood again, which you named earlier. Many people
Yeah.
don't feel understood. People don't
Well, and this is
understand
the
them.
thing.
Yeah.
You can't do things, you can't teach things that black and white in
Mm.
medicine or any other profession, really. You can't say you are not allowed to do this and you are not allowed to say
Yeah.
that. And I was told from a um, I remember I was interviewing a patient as a medical student, and the patient had cancer,
Mm.
and the patient started crying, and I'm a very sensitive soul,
Mm.
so as a medical student, and I was also a medical student,
Yeah.
and so I started, I had tears in my eyes too,
Mm.
but I still continued, conducted the interview. I held space for the patient,
Yes. But you were touched by it. Like, yeah.
but I got dinged because I cried.
Oh, wow.
And I remember, and the teacher made an example of me in front of everybody and said,
Oh,
all of you need to understand the difference between empathy and sympathy. And I was like, wow,
wow.
this is,
That's where disconnect happens, right?
yeah, yeah,
Disconnect.
yeah.
There's something, yeah. As you're sharing this, there's something about in the mindfulness practices and
Mhm.
compassion. We begin to see like someone else is really just like me.
Yeah,
They are just like me. There isn't this huge separateness. We don't have to agree with someone. We don't have to necessarily like them, but there's like, wow, they're just like me too. Like They got yearnings, they got hopes, they got fears, and right now they're hurting, like just like me. I've experienced hurt. Like there
Yeah.
isn't this like lesser being out there.
Yeah. No, I and
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest teachings that I've gained is that in order for me to have compassion for my patients,
Mm,
I have to learn how to have compassion for myself.
yeah.
So, going back to our conversation about that social responsibility kind of
Mm,
being high,
yeah.
well, yes, sure, it's high, but I'm not going to be able to be of service if I don't know how to care for myself enough and be
Mm,
compassionate enough to myself in order to be the physician that I want to be. And I
mm,
can tell you, Kasim, I'm
yeah.
able to hold space so much better for my patients in 2024 compared to before 2017, from
Mm,
even 5 years ago. Uh, I can listen, I can actively listen better. I'm not
mm,
jumping to solve their problem right away. I let them sit in their pain, and it's okay for them to
mm,
sit in their pain. Whereas
mm,
before, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry you're crying," and I feel bad for them. And
yeah.
now I'm like, "Oh, this is great. This is so good. You're sitting in your emotions."
Yes.
And then they start giggling and they say, "Oh, I only cry when I sit with you."
Yeah. But what a bond. You see, that's
Yeah,
a bond that heals, right? Like a bond where people can just
yeah,
be
yeah,
truly.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to say, it's such a privilege to be to
Mm,
be of service to your patients, of any caliber. It brings so much, not only purpose, but so much
mm.
joy to have that connection with other people.
Yeah. Hello there, and thank you so much for stopping by this channel. I hope you find this content useful, and if you do, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It will really help me to reach to more people and keep this content going. Here we are journeying together, and let's see where this takes us.